in the amount of $10,646, and that will be utilized for contracted services, travel, and miscellaneous. So that change also affects the revenue side. Number two, there was North Carolina General Assembly directed grant funds through Transylvania County that was received from the Transylvania County Department of Public Health in the amount of $18,750 that will be utilized for miscellaneous, such as new computer equipment and his exam table. And again, you see that affects the revenue side. Then the health department entered departmental transfers in the amount of $38,000 to rectify salaries, life insurance, and retirement. And then DSS received $1,000 from Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina for the purpose of purchasing car seats. So that affects both the appropriation and revenue side. And just to give you a brief update, we're still continuing to have our monthly check-ins with Tim Green, who is our LGC coach, and that is going well. Just a reminder, if you have not already done so, he wanted me to remind you that the board training, all your board training is required by 415. So if you have not done that yet, if you can please complete that and send in your certificate so we can get those to him. And we have another budget to actual report that has to be submitted to him by April 15th, as well as the draft budget ordinance. So I think Kim's got it on the agenda for us to talk about some dates for for some additional budget meetings so that we can finalize things. And just an audit update, Beverly Stroud is the CPA that we're working with. She just talked to our auditor this past week at a meeting, and our fiscal 22-23 audit should be ready by the 15th of April. That's what they're anticipating. And we would like to have the 23-24 audit field work right on its heels, ready to turn in. So although they haven't opened the portal for us to start sending those documents in yet, we've been building like a dummy portal on the backside and just trying to load as much as we can. So we've been working hard to have it ready so we can get that turned in on the heels of the 22-23. You also will have a copy of the income statement. There's a copy in your packet. Our income for February was $1,202,157.04. That brings our year-to-date total to $16,235,123.32. And you'll have a copy of the expenditure statement. We have those split up by department with the ideal percentage versus what their actual percentage is. So if they are trending high, they are highlighted in a red color so that you can see if they're trending higher than the ideal. Our expenditures for February is $1,649,338.98, and that brings our year-to-date totals to $14,767,344.40. Our property tax collections, you have a copy of that report in your packet as well. Our collections for February were $255,401.41. For prior years that was collected in February, they were able to collect $15,533.85. So our total collections for 2024 is $8,639,328.85, with a balance remaining to be collected of $620,722.59. And as of, I apologize, I didn't update that. It still says January. As of February, our collection percentage is 93.3%. Not to say February. I'm sorry. As far as our sales tax collections, you do have a copy of the January report in your packet as well. January collections are paid in March, so they're always running 2 months behind. So our January collections for sales tax was $304,296.15, and that brings our year-to-date collections to $2,170,960.39. Of those sales tax collections, of course, we have the portion that's set aside for the schools. And again, I still have, well, no, that's right, it is January there. This one runs different on a different cycle. I apologize. The sales tax that was set aside out of January's collections was $62,604.74, and that brings their year-to-date total to $454,315.15. Of that, I still have an available balance of $229,977.88. they've not expended. And then again, of the sales tax collections, we set aside a quarter cent for public safety for the purpose of the Justice Center. So the part that was set aside in January was $23,945.52. And our total collected to date is $1,605,000, or $605,521.48. And you have copies of all of these reports in your packet for review. And then the final item is the vehicle tax collections. The February report is attached. February collections are paid in March. And we received $58,913.78, which brings our year-to-date collections up to $453,392.58. Are there any questions regarding that? Now we'll need a motion for the amendment.
Thank you, Stacy, and I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendment number 8. And I do want to mention that Ms. Donna had told me that they are going to be buying some new computers that's needed. We've had some actually malfunction lately, and it's made our job a little bit harder. So I'm thankful for that, and I know that the department will be as well. And these are grants, and I'll be honest with you, she's looking for grants on the daily. She comes and mentions grants to me, so that's very good. So I'll make the motion to approve that budget amendment number 8.
Second.
All in favor? And do we have anybody for public comment today?
Me. I just want to kind of give you a little bit of update on two things. As I stated earlier, I attended the North Carolina League of Municipality workshop today on the insurances and stuff. And so just kind of give you a little bit of breakdown on some of the claims that they were suggesting that the counties needs to, or the governmentals, and the organization I work for is part of this organization. And so I'll just kind of give you a little bit of law enforcement claims is up 42%. Public works is 27%. And the number of claims filed last year from the police department, sheriff's department was 921 claims. That's up 262% of what normally is. And that is due to the fact is that the cost factor on repairing vehicles and the cost of parts and labor and stuff that is going up. They were kind of comparing the Dodge Charger from 2018 was the cost of it for a police interceptor was a little over $28,000, and then in 2023 is $48,000, and it costs us $12,000 to upgrade it. That includes radios, lights and sirens and striping and stuff, and those things are what the cost value is. But one of the things is prevention that they were trying to stress was putting the brush guards on front of the vehicles would reduce the amount of damage to these cars and these SUVs due to the fact a lot of them is where they hit wildlife, different types of wildlife, and it's saved from that damage to that vehicle. And they said, you know, that they have one police department, I can't remember what the little town was, but once they put them on there, they had no more damage to the vehicles. They said they had scrapes and stuff on the brush guard itself, but the damage to the vehicles was none. And so it said it saved that county quite a bit of money, because one of the things is they're saying their deductible is going from $1,000 to $10,000. So if that happens, if we have 3 vehicles that gets damaged, that's $30,000 that has to come out of our pocket. And so one of the things is that I didn't know this, but they were talking about the younger generation going into uh, the training to be a law officer. They said like 67% of these people had not had a driving license until they were right at 18 or 19 years old because they were always taken by family members or transit. So they never really applied for the driving license until they actually started to school. And they've only had their license for about a year or two. And then when you go through the course for the community college, it's 700 and some hours that you got to do. But driving part is only 40 hours. And you have an individual that's less than 2 year vested in their driving license, and then you put them in a speed demon, what do you have? You have accidents. And that was one of the things that they were bringing up about, you know, doing background checks. See how long these people's had their driving license. And uh, kind of, and if they seem like they're doing minor damage and having scuffs and stuff, put them through a training class. He said, it don't hurt. He said, it kind of gives them a wake up call and it kind of helps them do that. But I just kind of wanted to kind of give you a little bit of update on that. And, the rate is going up 11.25%. Workman's comp, if you do not have any claims, will decrease. But if you have had some claims, it can go between 4 to 8% increase. And so I just want to kind of update you on that. And then also, I wanted to thank the board from our department, Sickle Fire Department, that, as y'all know, I was very pushy about the latch money and ensuring that those funds was being used where they need to be. And I even talked to Russ and Josh about borrowing money to trying to buy a new truck and the cost factor. And when you take in, you figure the number of costs that the new trucks are right out of $500,000, there was no way we could take a finance for it. The payments would have to be 50 to 60 years long before we could be able to finance. But the truck that we have, I even brought it with me. I apologize for it being dirty because ever since we put it in service, it's been on 4 calls. And one was down next to Kevin's house down there. So we've been busy with it. They washed it up and everything the other day. We back out on the call the other day. And Kevin went by and it rained and when you're on a gravel road, it just sticks to them. But this truck was come from Kentucky. It was placed. Just kind of give you a little bit of idea. These fire departments in other states and also in the state of North Carolina have fire tax, and they accumulate quite a bit of money, so they have to rotate these trucks out. They rotate them out. This truck was stationed in an EMS base just for backup system. It only has 4,000 miles on it. It's 10 years old, but we had it checked before we got it, and there's nothing wrong with the truck. Everything is just it's basically brand new, and we didn't pay that much for it. But with the latch money and contributions from the public and stuff, we were able to pay for the truck. And so the truck is paid for, and it's a lot bigger than what we had. Our previous truck was going on 37 years old. We bought it back in '86 for $52,000. That kind of gives you an idea of how this grown. And it only carries 750 gallon of water. This one hauls 1,000 gallon. And we have a tanker, another truck that's got 1,000 and plus a mini pumpers of 500. This gives us the opportunity to be able to lower our fire rating. And during the summertime, our people or our team is going to be working hard because they have to come out and video you while you do these tests. That truck has to pump 20 or 250 gallons a minute for 20 minutes. So we have to have that consistently without interruption. And it could be anywhere the inspector decides he wants that truck to be stationed. So it just, with our mutual aid agreements with Swain County, West Swain, and also Graham County and stuff, we won't have a problem. But due to the fact is we're rural, we do not have any fire hydrants. We have some dry hydrants in our service area. But one of the things is if we can take and get our rating down, it's going to put money back in people's pocket. And that's what we're wanting to do. And we hope we can succeed at that. Like I say, I brought the truck over. You're welcome to look at it. And we're very pleased to have it. And we have done notified the state that it is here because the state has told us that we had to replace the truck. So this at least keeps our fire rating as it is now, but we want to lower that. And with the work of the people of our community and the Board of Commissioners, we were able to take this. And I just want to say a special thank you for what you did.
Thank you, Lynn, for doing that.
And for your work there too.
I'll segue just a little bit on that too. I wanted to thank Kim especially for helping us we're working on getting the veteran flag back up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's an Andrews Fire Department has agreed to come over and help us do that. And Kim has been a coordinator in a lot of this, I know. Harold Phillips, who is himself a veteran of Vietnam and Iraq, was going to climb up in a bucket truck and get that rope up there. So I'm delighted to know that we're going to have some more help to do that because I didn't want to lose Harold anytime soon. He did it last time. I don't know how many baby aspirin I had in my purse, but I took them all.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So thank you, Kim. And thanks to Andrews and all y'all do over there. Good deal.
Do we have any other public
I
comment?
got a question. I live on 28. It's a speed demon from Mother's Day until Labor Day. And most people live out in Tuskegee and Sequoia, they're old. And we got people trying to do 100 miles an hour out on their roads. And they tell me none of our deputies are radar trained. That doesn't make sense to me. State troopers, they're out on 74 all the time. And we do have a lot of wrecks on that going 28.
You should have.
I just wondered, just on the weekend from the motorcycles and the sports cars, we could pay for some radar units.
Well, I mean, half the time they're on the wrong side of the road. I mean, even without radar, they're all over and they're running out.
I got met two people here about 5 years ago that was in my lane on a motorcycle. And the guy was all upset with me, and I drive the limit. But we need some kind of protection out there because they go crazy.
We've been responding to calls toward Fontana. They pass us.
Oh, sure.
They'll pass us.
Yeah.
And that's with their license sirens on, and they'll pass us just like we're sitting, Steve.
It's a racetrack.
Well, they call it that. I mean, it's
They
just
do
an
call it
extension of the driving to the, it's their playground there.
You know, you can talk about it all you want to, but somebody's loved one's gonna be killed out there.
Mhm.
And I've been down to the mailbox, which is across the street from the motel Tuskegee, and I've actually had my hat blown off 2 or 3 times every time I go down there. So, you know, it's crazy out there. They come down off that hill, them people live in Tuskegee Acres there for a whole one, Chris used to live. That is one dangerous intersection out there. Since I've been here 31 years, I've seen 9 wrecks there.
So I would like to offer, that I can speak with the sheriff myself and make some recommendations, and then would you mind to give Miss Chris your contact information? That way we could call you and try to give you what we come up with.
Don't worry.
Okay. I will speak with him this week and we'll let you know, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I have something, Kevin is the Grammy Star, in case you guys don't know me. Just joking. There's nothing on the agenda about the Justice Center. Is there anything new? Just asking.
So we did talk a little bit about it in the workshop.
Okay.
We do have,
Late, so I'm sorry.
yeah, it's okay. We do, we are looking at a new site. Well, I guess I call it, it's across the road from one of the sites that we already looked at up to Ludlow. So we are, hoping to talk more about it. So I guess we could basically talk about it now during public comment, and just see if the board does feel that they're serious about that. That way we can go to the landowners and say, we are serious, and they would get an appraisal. So I would make a motion to, basically speak to the landowners more in depth. That way they see the seriousness of it, and that way they would get an appraisal.
Okay, I'll second the motion. We won't mention the landowners, but yes, I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
It is a good location, a good spot, with minimal work they would have to go into it if they're.
So I hope that answers your question. We hope
Well,
to
no,
have.
it does. And the only reason I asked it is I looked at Jason's report. He always has that on there, but it's vague. I mean, Jason just didn't have an update, so I just thought I'd ask. So, good enough.
And probably the reason for that is he's on.
He's on leave, right?
Big
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Right now, and I know the public is getting weary with us, and we keep coming up with a side bet. I'll share that Sweetwater Church did not have a pastor for 2 years. And there were some of our members that wanted to rush us along. And now we have people coming to our church after the 2 years. We felt like we were able to get the right man in the right place. So it was worth the wait. And I hope we can see the relativity there, because we're not just standing still, but we do want to get this right.
And basically, we've not been, just kind of letting it fall to the wayside. It's been active duty as far as what we're working on. We've looked at the Stanley property numerous times. We've looked at the school property numerous times. We've had meetings in the interim since our last public meeting about the Justice Center. We've hit some roadblocks. And so, we're trying to have plan A, B, and C, just because we need to make a decision, as soon as possible.
I don't ask. They'll ask.
Right.
So, all we will get that out there. All right, good deal.
So any other public comment tonight? Okay. So we'll move on to item number 8, the discussion items. So subsection A, the releases, I would make a motion for approval of the releases in the amount of $4,287.11 and discoveries in the amount of $2,063.07.
Second.
All in favor? And then Ms. Orr has already mentioned Ms. Chris' work on the flagpole. So it sounds like she contacted Mr. Stevens with EMS, and he had a contact over in Valleytown Fire Department, and they're willing to come over and help. So that's wonderful.
And if the board is pleased, if you're okay with me feeding them lunch, because The cost from the rental company was only upward of 5,000 plus, and they're gonna do this for us for free.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And is this gonna fix both flags?
They cannot get on the courthouse one, Lee Chris. They is gonna do that for us at a reasonable price.
Can't get to it.
They cannot, because we have a marble. You don't know anything to bust the marble.
And then the next item C, to approve the animal refuge invoice. And then also in the future, she has asked to have approval per invoice. And I spoke to Stacy about it. She would still have a cap at the end with the 20,000 allocation, which is what we would give Valley River. So basically she, instead of getting paid monthly, she just wants to be able to invoice us as she needs medications or supplies. And then we would approve those invoices. And then they mentioned, with each approval, the nonprofit would get an amount remaining in the balance. So if I could have a motion to approve that method for the new animal refuge.
I just interject where, this is the remainder of the allocation that has not already been issued to Valley River. So I don't want anyone to have a misconception that it's the full 20,000.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? And the next is item D, approve Safety Works user agreement for transit and general employees.
This is our drug testing policies.
Motion.
I'll second that. All in favor? And item E, approve updated transit policies, complaints and resolution, procedures policy, operations policy, title B1, program plan, and transit and driver handbook. And I believe Ms. Kim had emailed that to us.
Yes, and nothing changed except for the new director and a couple of, the name changes like Michael Collins. That's all that changed inside the policies.
Motion to approve.
All in favor? And the board of ENR meeting dates and a board meeting date for the LGC final draft.
Okay, so the Board of ENR, we always meet the first Tuesday following, I think it has to be like, April the 9th is the first one. I think the first falls on the actual Tuesday, but it has to follow the first Monday. So we can start it on, that night at 5 o'clock. The ninth is the, not the 9th, the 8th. Yeah, the 8th. Is the DSS meeting, we have that at 5, so you can have the Board of ENR at 5 and the DSS at 5:30. You can do this 15th, I guess this was the 2024, the 15th, the 22nd, or the 29th. So far, we do not have anything scheduled. So if you want to just do 2 more, if you want to go ahead and block all the Tuesdays, that's fine with me. Normally, we did this, like the 15th and the 22nd would have been from 4 to 5. If there's another time better for you,
Yeah, that's fine.
Commissioner Cody.
Yeah.
And then on the last one, usually it was from 5 to 6. If y'all are okay with that, we can publish that in the paper. Yeah, I guess we'll.
I will make a motion that we publish the schedule as presented to us.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Okay, the next one is the LGC final draft for the budget, and we can do that next week. What is the best day? I think I heard back from everybody was pretty free for the whole week, except for Commissioner Cody. I didn't get with you on that. What is a good day for you next week?
In the evening, right?
In the afternoon.
Yeah.
Just set a date. I'll put it in my calendar. I've not got it with me, but I should be okay.
Same here.
You want to do that Tuesday? Is that a better day?
Tuesday, yeah.
Okay,
that'd be
that's
fine.
the 25th.
What time?
9:30 or 5. Which one? 5 o'clock? Okay, 5 o'clock.
Megan, is that good?
Yes. You need a motion for that as
Yeah,
well?
I'll swear you are.
No, I'll just post that one. Yeah, that'll be a notice of a special meeting.
So, item G, appoint tri-county board members, Miss Libby Inslee and Mr. Randy Moody. If I could have a motion for those. Did someone contact you about that?
She did, Donna at Tipton Rogers, she did contact me, and she said they're wanting to get our, Grant County, satellite up and going again. It's kind of been stale, since COVID, and then I think she experienced some illness herself. And so she was very excited about getting our campus back up and running, and we needed 2 members from Grant County, and Lee Inslee is the vice chief's wife, and then Randy Mooney is a school teacher, so.
Do we have a motion to approve those appointments?
I'll make that motion. I think they'll be really good board members by that.
Does he live in Grand Canyon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And
because I was gonna say, she's from Swain County, that's conflict of interest. So that's Southwest.
Do we have a second for that?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, and so we were gonna discuss the public playground, and I'm sure everyone so, heard about it or saw it on social media, which was very upsetting. Thankfully, they were able to look on the cameras and they were able to find out that it was actually a individual that was actually breaking into the needle boxes that we had put there for safety reasons. And he was actually getting those out and throwing them about the playground. And so that person has been apprehended since that time. But we wanted to talk about future of that playground and, what we need to do about, the needle boxes. I have talked with the sheriff and he doesn't really like the needle boxes, and I understand that for that reason. But I will say, coming from a healthcare worker, there are needle boxes that you can't break into. So maybe that's a possibility that we can look into something like that. If there is diabetics there, I understand that. They need to do that. But the other question that I had was, is that actually being used in the right way? Or are people actually just coming over there and just disposing of their needles?
is there a better location than our playground for a needle lock? I would hope so.
So I know that in the past that there was actually needles thrown about.
Everyone.
And that was the reason why the box was
That's the reason it's good.
Yes.
But I'm thinking, if it's open, that whole end is open at night, if we can gate it off and, lock the gate at dark, I think most of the trouble, I think, is happening overnight. That would be something we could do.
I would agree with that, and I think that Thomas Menard has mentioned, and I believe Kim has mentioned, the possibility of moving the playground, but we've talked about it, and it would be harder for people to get up there, if they're walking. So I do think my vote right now would be to look at prices for getting a gate put on that area.
Okay, so I will have to get more fencing as you go into the curve to the playground, because that was open for the people who lived, in that area in the back, for them to come through instead of coming around the front. So we will have to install a fence there because they climb over that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and we are going to address, we're gonna have to address sometime soon, the embankment is falling off up to the fence, so if you get a chance to drive by,
Is it in a creek road?
it is at the creek, on our fence.
Well, we need some riprap down the way. We've got.
So if you'll let me get prices for all of that at the same time, that might be the best way.
I might reach out to some local contractors to see if they can do some donation
On the.
for kids.
And Dirk may do that for us as well. He owns the property on the other side of the creek, so.
And Joe Phillips usually has plenty of riprap up at his place at Slave Acre.
DR?
Okay. I don't, not spoken to him, but he might be in contact.
Since we're talking about filling in holes, what about the recycling center where the dumpsters is at? There's some of them that's
I think
underwater.
Kim is.
When somebody goes through them,
Yeah.
We thought.
She's
they're
talking to
pretty,
DOT
pretty
about
deep.
it. She's talking to the DOT about it.
Yeah, you can burn a car in some of
Yeah, I've forwarded a few. It was a good rainstorm to get my car through them, so yeah.
It's always pleasant to stand out and go to you, and it's,
The bad thing is asphalt, and then it's concrete behind it. So it has to be drained, and it's looking $25,000-$30,000 to fix it. So I was thinking again, that's dangerous, I know.
Ooh.
But I was thinking, the road goes behind it. So if we put just a truck, the bed of the truck, and then they drive by and dump the garbage off instead of having to lift the bags over into the green cans, they're above it and they just drop it off into the trucks. It would save some money for the canister, you just be able to haul the garbage out. I know they make them, I'm not sure if you would want the kind that,
Some places they got what they call a roll off. And they just
Yes.
put a roll off right there and they fill them up. And then they just come by, pick them up.
Pass its sale, so, I mean, that's something to look at if we're gonna start spending $30,000 to fix, those parking lots. It might be better to see if we can find a better way, a better solution. That there may be something else coming up as well. So,
I put another dumpster drive this week, and I was over at 28. I was down at East Buffalo. I went to a few more. But Buffalo, the dumpster site, as well as the site on 28, is quite a bit larger than the site that we have out at the recycling center. It's quite, both of them are, I'd say, at least half, again, as large as this out here. And we've got maybe 2/3 of the residents in this county using this one out here. So those two are well kept, they're in good order. The folks I talked to couldn't have been more pleasant or helpful. But we have a serious problem here. Getting in and out is difficult. Maybe I'm the one who's backwards, but I feel like the exit is my entrance because my trash goes behind my driver's seat. And that's where I want to get out and throw my trash in the dumpster. And there's two more cars in our side out here on Stobart. We're in a traffic jam. It's just not big enough. So any way that we could streamline that area to accommodate one big truck and less smaller trailers and trash trucks. I don't know how that would look, but I know Keith with DOT, Keith Rogers, we had spoken, then he had spoken with Kim, and they had spoken, and he came up with an idea that I heard Kim say over the years many times, and that is, there's a bank right behind where the dumpsters sit. It's not far. What is it, about 5 feet to the drop off? And you could actually move that back fence, put where the trash goes there and just walk over to it and drop your trash. So seems to me like as many people as use that would help with at least the traffic, hopefully. And yeah, there's 3 big holes out there. If you want to get the front end of your car realigned, just go out there.
it's just gonna get larger until we get it out of the drain.
And if it rains, then you're always waiting for water, even to reach a dumpster. If you just got out of your car, as close as you can get to it, you're still standing in the water. But
So our next item is to discuss the dumpsters. So while we're on that topic, I know that a lot of folks from Snowbird and the Glavins Creek area, or the lower end, they are kind of wanting to know about the dumpster sites. And so I would like some information just because I wasn't here whenever those decisions were made. So do we already have quotes for repairs?
I do have the next quote, for the snowbird site, was $84,7035, $8,470.35 for the fencing. And that would be to Gator. The reason I didn't get the Gladys Creek site is because we had talked about moving it. And I didn't know the size of the gate, because we need to move it down closer to
And
the
as it
bottom.
turns out, there's more, terrain,
Yeah.
more dirt than we thought, all the way to the creek. I think Branson walked down there and measured that, and he said there's a good bit more property there than we had before.
Yeah.
And that would be usable for that dump site. And I think we voted June 17th to alternate that with the Bear Creek, so if we could get moving on that and the, Snowbird one, the Snowbird one will take some of the activity from the recycling out on 143 out here. But that is a real challenge to get in there, to dump, and it's a real challenge to our drivers and our workers as well.
So Kim, can you tell me, just for my learning purposes, these repairs come out of our general fund, or is that budgeted through sanitation? Or
It's gonna come out of our general fund. I'm not sure exactly where we're at in sanitation. We had plans.
was the repairs for these other fences, was that in their budget, or is that?
Yeah, this is all in sanitation budget. We had planned for some of this, but not all of it. Because I think we had pulled the Gladys Creek out because
We didn't think it
we
was
didn't
big
know, yeah,
for the truck to turn.
yeah. I think the minutes were like, to live up the accepting and go to the next site. We didn't say which site, it just said to the next site, so y'all are ready now to go move on to the other side, which can be the Snowbird side, if that's what you choose. Or if you want me to go and try to do the Gladys Creek, get a quote for it.
I honestly think that I've been approached from more people from the lower end myself.
Yeah, I
About
have.
something different, but I know that, I realized that we have Buffalo, but I guess, if you're driving from the lower end, that extra few miles, it does add up.
So Gladys Creek does serve, Gladys Creek, Yellow Creek, Orange Creek, Gold Mine. I mean, and a pretty good chunk of people for that little one.
So we would kind of have to start over there with looking at where the fence needs to go, then get a price for the, fence, the lighting. There's a power pole there. or is
Yes.
there? Yeah, I think so. I know there are several power poles at the, out of Sober. There's plenty of power poles out there.
I think we have lighting at the, I don't go down that way, but I'm pretty sure we have lighting there at Gladys Creek.
I think so too, but I don't remember either. But that would be, you've got a good bit of information to get there. That's where exactly to put the fence, how many pins, and the cost of the fence.
So I guess the direction would be if we can get that quote, and then once we get that quote, then we can move forward.
But since you've got the quote for the Snowbird one, y'all feel like we could move ahead with that now to maybe ease the traffic out at the recycling center?
Do we have a motion for that?
I will make that motion since we're farther into that process. A good bit, I believe, is that right, Kim?
Yes.
Than we are to the Gladys Creek. Although I must have misunderstood that because my understanding was that we were going to rotate, the Bear Creek site with the Gladys Creek site. So that,
And that's what I was thinking. I know we had the hearing and we talked to the residents in the area. And I think that's what they were kind of in their impression of, that they would kind of give them the same general time frame or one after the other kind of thing, so they start rotating. Because they would all pretty willing to just have part-time.
And use the same person that is
Pretty
managing
much,
Bear
yeah.
Creek down Blandford. However, like I said, no matter how I understood it, we're a little farther along, with the snowbird site being able to get it open. I believe, is that right, Kim?
Yeah.
Than we would be the Glass Creek right now. So,
We do have something that we've got to discuss in closed session as far as a contract, so I feel like maybe we should table this until we have that.
we will. If you got some information, we should, yes.
Rescind the motion.
Yes.
Any other discussion on the dumpsters? We might have more discussion after the closed session. And then the item J would be to approve leave without pay for A. Brooks. We have some plans prior to hire.
Yes.
If I can have a motion for that.
So
All in favor?
If we get to talk about
She's getting married.
that's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay, and next we'll ask Mr. Josh Carpenter with the EDC updates.
Thank you for the segue, Connie.
Yeah, full that, Josh.
My goodness.
Yep.
Tough. Good evening. How is everybody tonight? Thank you for what you're doing and thank you for seeing me this evening. Have some quick updates. I know that we want to go into closed session as well, talk about a few other things. So I just want to really say that from really the update is from January this year until now. So right the first quarter of the year, basically. Talk about, the two things that we do all the time, two main for us for economic development here in the county, small business support and trying to do some recruitment of industry, large industry at the Stanley site. And so we've been doing both of those things in and around both ways. And in all honesty, small business focus has been how to recover from sort of the loss of the fall season. A lot of small businesses here in the community, really make their sort of money through the fall to cover themselves January, February, March. So really kind of figuring out how to assist businesses through that time period. There's been a lot of resources come out from the state. There's, Mount BizWorks and others and our own efforts have really kind of been paramount to some of those things. The state, like I said, has been funding small business grants and others. And really, we've been out trying to talk to businesses and understand, like I said, what those needs are. So again, understand that sort of loss of business or decline of business through, October, November, December, equated to some, potential issues there in the first part of the year. We're kind of through that. So you'll see that when we start talking about the small business grants we've been doing. So that's the small business side of the house. We always look at retaining industry, retaining businesses first, and then trying to recruit and bring in new industry. So without too much being said about what's going on at Stanley, we constantly have some sort of interest in that building. I feel like it's always on about a 60 to 90 day cycle. So every couple, 3 months, we have renewed interest and honestly, like I said, those clients or businesses that are looking at that site, they sort of overlap. So that 60 to 90 days, like we get kind of a new one here and there, and then we have some overlap in that cycle. So in all honesty, like I said, there's just some renewed interest for some older folks that were or clients that previously looked at the building, some new interest in others. And so we're always looking at trying to put the most amount of jobs with the most amount of investment, the best wages that we can. And that's, of course, with sort of the idea towards which businesses meet the facility the best. So, infrastructure, tax environment, workforce, those types of aspects. So I'm really here just to give you that brief update and ask if you got any questions after you talk. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Josh.
Absolutely. And like I said, I'll hang around for closed session and talk about the other things.
Thank you. Any questions for Josh?
Now, I will let you know, Josh, I spoke with one of our small businesses yesterday, and they are expecting you and me within 2 weeks to come back okay?
Sure, that sounds
I'll
great.
lay it down and comments up to that.
No, that's perfectly fine. I'd be happy to go and tell you.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
All right, send, thank you.
And once again, the state has a lot of help for what they call small businesses. What we call small business is 1 to maybe 10 employees. And there's very little, if any, program other than what we have internally in the county here to help our businesses up and down the strips that you see, that you pass every day. So it's critical that we keep those businesses going on. Or Natasha say maybe the Jordan building would be occupied sooner than later and get some additional small businesses in there. We hope we'll be in a position to help. And that's what this small business program is about.
That's right, and I agree with Connie, the limited resources that the county has been put in a good use to try to help create some jobs and retain some folks and do good work. Like you said, the state and federal government have a lot of definitions about what small business is. One of those is less than 500 employees. That's pretty much in business in Western North Carolina. And so there's other definitions that we go by, but to that point, we have a lot of resources, and really it's about marrying that resource with the business owner. A lot of times they don't even know that they're out there. Just trying to make that connection is really what we end up doing, is helping them find, the path to that resource and helping them understand what that is. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. So I'll take a motion to enter into closed session under G.S. 143.318, 11A, 1356, privilege or confidential information, attorney-client privilege, personnel, and contracts. All in favor?